Hi, welcome to the Small Business Show. My name is Swire from Garuda Promo. In this episode, we have Dan Hansen from DG Collision Center here in Covina as a guest. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Hey, thanks for having me, Swire. Appreciate it.
Dan, please tell us about your professional background, especially how you came from a young apprentice and come to Dan Go today.
Well, as you mentioned, I did an apprenticeship when I was a kid. I started painting my bicycles and model cars, stuff like that at home. And my father noticed this stuff and asked me, hey, do you really like, refinishing? Do you like to paint? Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah, definitely. And just so happens he had a friend who owned a body shop in Salt Lake City, Utah. And we made a plan. I would be going to Salt Lake City for summers and spending my summers in the body shop. And I learned it from the ground up. I started sweeping floors and cleaning bathrooms and then prepping cars and pretty much received a formal education that way as an apprentice.
Wow.
After that, after I graduated high school and there was no longer summer breaks, I stayed in New York where I grew up and worked in a shop called Number One Auto Body under a guy named Kenny Grimm. And he taught me a lot of stuff about how to read customers' expectations and kind of refined my paint skills a little bit in the custom side. And he was really influential as well.
Okay, and I wanted to ask you about this question. I know that you, about 2 years ago, you were at another location and then you bought into this location plus the business in Covina. Can you let the viewer know what your thought process are and how did you make that transition into DG Collision, the current location?
Okay, so prior to owning DG Collision, I owned a shop called Dan Go Master Refinishing that was in Chatsworth, California. Mm-hmm. Had it for about 12 years and got to a point in that building where I was kind of plateaued and I was ready to get my own property and kind of elevate my business. So I started looking online for locations, buildings for sale, stuff like that. Came across this place on LoopNet actually.
Okay.
And it's kind of far from home and it's far from my old business.
Right.
But the advantage to acquiring this property was that it's already set up as a body shop. The equipment's here, it's permitted, and it came with a good amount of technicians. So it was really advantageous for me to come over here and start DG Collision kind of with a head start. Mm-hmm. So I went through a process with the old owners of this shop used to be called C&L Auto Body, and we went through almost 6 months of learning about each other, and they felt comfortable leaving the shop with me, and of course I was happy to take it over. I did change the name obviously to DG, but that was kind of the process. As far as planning goes, I kind of just knew that I was going to have to focus and work hard.
Okay. And I know that you just mentioned that you had a lot of did all the technicians from the previous owner stay and help you?
3 of them stayed. One of them has since left. We've gone through a few different guys, but right now we have a really solid team. Everyone's on the same level and same page, and we all help each other.
Yeah, can you explain more about that? I know that I talked to you previously. You said there's a way that you motivate the guys because they already have a lot of experience, and then you're able to encourage them so you guys excel the level that of workmanship that you guys have. Can you share something about that?
Well, one thing is that when I'm hiring someone new, I want to make sure that they're really well trained and they know their heart is in this game. It's not just a paycheck or something like that. They're actually craftsmen that are really proud of their work. So if I find someone like that, which these days is kind of few and far between, I let them know they're greatly appreciated. And when a job comes out great, I'll pull everyone together and say, hey, look at this. Didn't that come out really good? You know, I'm really proud of you guys for doing this good job. And you know, every now and again we'll have a barbecue or something like that to kind of celebrate our success. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you encourage them to become the next level? Like, obviously they have a certain skill set when they come in. Do you think there are room for them, for everyone?
Everyone can learn. We all learn every day, myself included. Anytime there's an opportunity for me to show someone a different way to do something that I feel is better, I'll explain it and say, hey, you know what, this area, if we do this differently, it'll come out more satisfactory. And if they try it and it works, I encourage them, you know, with positive reinforcement.
Okay, that's great. And you think that's helpful?
It has been helpful. It has been helpful. You know, it raises camaraderie and pride. If a lot of this stuff, you know, a lot of this stuff we do, we want to make the car look good and we're proud of it. So if you get told you did a good job, it makes you more proud.
Right.
You know?
And that brings me to another question. So obviously, the more time you spend on working on a car, the better the result will be. How do you balance your workmanship and, you know, the service hours that you charge for your business?
That's a good question. And it's kind of a two-part answer. So in collision, we go by an industry standard for how long a repair should take, and most of it is clearly defined through what's called a motor guide. Okay. And all the estimating programs will have that. So if we change a door or something like that, the time is already calculated. On the restoration or custom side, what we like to do is clearly define expectations in the beginning. Like as far as what level you want to take the job to, like say, oh, you know what, I want a driver. I don't want to spend a ton of money, so we kind of know like that's kind of a B level, you know what I mean? And then if you want to take it up to A level, you say, oh well, I want a show car, and I'm gonna keep it in my garage, and I'm gonna wrap it in plastic or something, you know, like. And so then we know like, okay, this guy wants A level, and then we bill hourly according to what level they want to do. So
yeah, that kind of clears up a lot of the, you know, bad rep for shop, and you let them know, set them with the right expectation before you start, instead of just have the car in and say, you know, we're going to charge you, you know, this amount. And so do you think that's more helpful, like communicating that with clients?
That, you know, like when someone says they have a high maintenance customer, or a problem customer, I really feel like that comes from miscommunication in the very beginning. You have to ask the right questions that clearly define the needs of the customer, and then fulfill them. And if you do all that, and if you document, you know, what the customer wants, and you put it in your estimate, at the end of the job, as long as you've done everything on the list, it's really hard to be unhappy.
Well, I was going to ask you that question, but that's a perfect answer. So, you know, define what they want and then address them one by one.
Right.
How about client who can never make up their mind? I want blue, I want pink, I want yellow, and...
I mean, it kind of goes back to that clearly defining the job from the beginning. There are times where people say, oh, I've changed my mind. I want this to look this way and this that way. And so what I'll do is I'll sit down with them and explain what the extra stuff they want is going to cost. And if they want to go forward with it like that, then we just do it. I mean, I'm not here to be grumpy about someone paying me to work for them. We're here to fulfill, you know, this desire to have a custom car, or, you know, the perfect restoration, or even a collision. We're here to make them happy with what we do, as long as they're willing to compensate us for it. We're fine.
So they could basically do whatever they choose, you know, if they think the price is right, then
yeah. And there's times where a customer said, oh, you know what, hold on, pump the brakes. I want to go with flames here or something there.
Right.
And I say, okay, well, that's X amount of dollars. And they say, oh, never mind. And we keep going in the job. So
going back to that's communication, you let them know what the expectation, and they kind of pick the choice themselves.
Right.
So I think that's good. What are other marketing techniques that have worked for your business that you can share?
Well, definitely social media.
Okay.
We're on all platforms thanks to Mountain Marketing. One that works most for us is Facebook.
Okay.
And subsection of that would be specific community groups. So these are Facebook groups that get together. We're in one called Covina Buzz.
Okay.
And it's just Covina residents, and it's kind of, we talk about what's going on in Covina, and there's always someone who says, hey, I need a body shop, or does anyone know someone who can detail my car, or that sort of thing. And they ask for dentists or roofing, and we all kind of help each other. Mm-hmm. And that's been really beneficial for us because we get to have more of a personal aspect of meeting people rather than here's an ad, let us know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And kind of, like people can click on my profile and see my family. You know what I mean? So it kind of gives a more personal aspect to marketing, and it's worked really well. Some other things are, conventional networking like Chamber of Commerce has helped me, gave me a great introduction to Covina. B&I, wonderful.
Okay.
That B&I has helped me grow as a businessman and given me great networking skills.
Okay, that's good to know. So you think by networking, by going out there and then helping the local community is one of the success things that you've done in marketing?
Definitely. One I almost forgot of is the Covina Farmers Market.
Okay.
We put up a booth there and get to meet hand to hand most people who are the heart of this community.
That's good to know. Let me jump to a fun question. Okay.
All right.
If Vincent Van Gogh is still alive today and challenge you, Van Gogh, for a custom paint job competition on a 56 Chevy Bel Air convertible, who's going to win and why?
Dan Go, hands down. Cars are my media. That guy works on canvas.
That's a confident answer. That's good to know. Anything that you're working on for the business in 2020 that you wanted to share with the viewers?
One thing that we are striving for is to develop better standard operating procedures. And so that would be anything from when you come in to get an estimate, to dropping your car off, to updates throughout the repair, and quality checks, to delivery. We want to create a standard operating procedure that delivers a consistent result every time. So you can expect that every time your car here, it's treated the same way. And you can expect the same results.
So I think that's the consistency is, I've been talking to different business owners. I think that's the key to success is because when you go into the shop, then you expect a certain level of consistency that, they expect anywhere else. Kind of like when we go to a foreign country, we go to Starbucks. We know that will be the same coffee, and for you will be go by the book. Be industry standard. Then people can trace back to it. It's not they just walk into a shop and they don't know how it's going to.
Will it be here a couple days or a few weeks, and will it get dropped in a mess of? Will my bolts be in those bolts, or like those things? People really want to have an experience with a body shop where they can forget about the accident and just it's over fast and smooth and done correctly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for a viewer that would like to get in touch with you, Dan, and maybe they wanted to bring the car here, what would be the best way to contact you?
You could contact me by phone at 626-445-6630. Facebook at DG Collision Center. On the web, www.dgcollisioncenter.com. Or just come in for an estimate. They're always free.
Okay, thank you so much, Dan.
Swire, thanks a lot for having me.
If you like the content, please like and subscribe to your page. And if you have any additional questions for the show or Dan, just comment below. Thank you.